Is real estate the best way to make money? In my opinion, for most people, the answer is yes, with a twist. It's real estate in a related business that is a great way to get started, a great way to make money, and a great way to make your fortune. In this video, I want to show you a special little business that's related to real estate. It's not exactly real estate, but you're going to love it because it's this little niche that's very hidden, that you don't need a lot of money to start, you don't need a lot of money to invest, you don't have to raise any capital, you don't even have to talk anybody into selling you a house at a discount. Really great way to make money, and you'll make big chunks of money that you may then use to invest in real estate. Maybe you'll even have free and clear real estate. And for most people, if you had 10 houses or so that were free and clear rentals, you'd be set for life. So strap on your boots and let's go and talk about how you're going to make money in real estate. And be sure to stay on at the end, because at the end, I'm going to give you free access to more advanced training where you can learn more about this, get into the details, and perhaps see if it's the business you're going to get started in. I think it will be, so let's get going. So people getting into real estate say, is this really where I should be? In my opinion, for most people, yes, it's a great place to be. It's great because it's tangible, it's pretty easy to deal with, people can relate to it. You don't have to figure out like the next startup or figure out some silicon chip or something like that. So it's a very straightforward business, and I think for most people that's really good. But the challenges with business in real estate is the need for capital, or the need to take out loans, and the danger that that represents. Because if you're clearing out your savings account to buy a house to flip, what happens if you run out of money when there's a construction cost overrun? Or what happens if you run into problems with your flip, or your contractor runs off with your money? I talked to a buddy the other day, he had a $400,000 renovation. He gave the contractor a $50,000 deposit, and the contractor's never been heard from again. That's just sad, and that happens. It's just the reality of the world. It happens. So I like real estate, but I don't like it for beginners. I don't like it for people who just don't have a lot of money to start with, because I think that it sometimes needs money to complete deals, and I think that can be a problem. What I do like is a related business called Overages. The related business is one that involves real estate, but you're never buying a property, you're never taking out a mortgage, you're never raising capital, because it's essentially a service business. So let me tell you about it. So Overages is based on when properties are lost at a foreclosure auction, meaning either someone didn't pay their mortgage, so they get mortgage foreclosed, or they didn't pay their real estate taxes, so the taxing authority will foreclose, sell the house, collect the tax money from that, and then here's the magic. There's money left over. And why would that be? Well, let's say it's a tax foreclosure. They're going to foreclose on the house after it's 3 to 4 years behind in taxes. That's going to add up, even with penalties and interest, to probably 15% of the home value. So let's say it's average house in America, it's worth $400,000 or so. When someone doesn't pay their taxes for 3 or 4 years, even with penalties and interest, they're probably going to owe somewhere between $50,000 and maybe $60,000. So we'll call it $50,000 so the math is easy. When their house is auctioned off because they didn't pay the taxes, bidders are going to show up, and they're going to be excited to bid because they want to get a bargain. So a $400,000 house, let's say that it's in bad shape because it's been ignored for a while. Say it needs $100,000 worth of work. I'm trying to make a conservative example for you. So it needs $100,000 worth of work. A bidder on that house is probably going to pay $200,000 for that house. Why? Because they want to pay 70 to 80% of its after repaired value minus the fix-up cost. Most of those sales are competitive, so we'll say 80% because that's more realistic. So let's say that it sells for 80% of $400,000, sells for about $420,000. If they owe $50,000 in taxes, that's going to leave $170,000 left over. Because what will happen is the taxing authority will hold the auction. They're going to collect $220,000. They're going to take $50,000 to pay their taxes and penalties and interest. That leaves $170,000 left over. The question is, what happens to that money? As an attorney, I can tell you that what happens to that money is it sits in government accounts until and unless the former owner comes to make a formal application for that money. So if they do make the formal application, they'll get the money. If they don't apply, and if they don't apply by the deadline, which is typically 3 years, it varies by state. Some states it's shorter, some states it's longer, but 3 years is kind of typical. If they don't apply by that deadline, then the government just keeps the money. It's a statute of limitations, you're done, you don't get the money. So most of the time they don't get the money. Matter of fact, the state of Maryland did a study and they showed that 7 out of 10 times people don't get their money. Instead, the money just forfeits to the government. So this is literally hundreds of millions of dollars sitting out there right this minute that either someone like you or me are going to reach out to these folks, tap them on the shoulder saying, hey, there's money available, would you like to go get it? Or they're not going to know about it and the money will just be lost. So the business is essentially tapping people on the shoulder and saying, hey, we found a sizable refund that you're eligible to claim. Would you like to claim it? We're in the business of helping people get those monies. Would you be interested? And you're working for a percentage, which makes it much easier to sell, because when you're working for a percentage for people, they don't owe you anything if it doesn't work out. So let's just go back to this example. We have one where there's $170,000 left over. And you reach out to someone and say, hey, we can do this. We can get you this money. If we're not successful for any reason, we don't get paid, but I think we will be. And we'll do it for, let's say, a third of the money. That would be normal. You wouldn't say it that way. We'd say to them, we can do this for a 1/3 contingent fee, meaning if we succeed, we get a third of what we recover. We don't succeed, it doesn't cost you anything. We cover all the costs. So a third of $170,000 would be a little over $55,000. So your fee on that deal would be $55,000. Now, what do you put up to do that? Almost nothing. We have people that will go out and meet the folks and get them signed up. We usually pay them somewhere between $60 and $100, depending on how far they have to travel. You're going to mail in the claim. Claim's going to get processed, and the check's going to be sent to you, deposit in your business account, send them their check. So the costs are very minimal. Most of the claims are just administrative claims where you fill in a form and send it in. There are also some states that do a judicial claim process, and those you apply to court. Generally, you're going to invest $1,500 to $2,000 with an attorney to do that. A lot of times for people new to the business, I tell them, just do the states where it's administrative, where you're just mailing in the claim, doesn't cost you anything, there's no risk to it, and they just do that. So anyway, you can imagine if your work is getting the list, finding the people, I can show you how to do all those things very inexpensively, and then reaching out and signing them up and then applying for the money, you can see how this doesn't take a lot of money to do. And it's very achievable even for a real estate beginner. And it's very achievable and you can make a lot of money. And again, this is related to real estate, not exactly real estate, which I absolutely love because it doesn't have the downside of real estate, which is investing money and also honestly dealing with tenants, toilets, tenants and contractors. Not as great as it could be. So this just generates lump sums of cash. And what I think you should do if you really want to be in real estate, get those lump sums of cash and then invest in good, high quality rental real estate where you can get great tenants, you can get good rents, where you can get a good property that doesn't fall apart all the time. That's a great investment. And just convert this lump sums of cash into those investments. I think that's a wonderful idea. And this business does not take a lot of money to start. A budget of $2,000 is enough to get this business started. As far as equipment that you're going to need, a telephone, probably have that. Internet connection, I'm sure you have that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video. A computer of some kind. It could be any ratty old thing. Just as long as it can connect to the internet, you can download some lists and print them out, you're good. If you don't have one, go spend $400 or $500 at Costco and get one. That'll be perfect. And then you need some education that I can give you because I teach this business. It's one of the things that I do. In addition to having what I believe is the largest overages business in the country, I also teach it to a select few folks. So it is really a great business. I love it because it's low overhead. You don't have to have an office or anything. Work from your house. It's quick to start. You don't need to start with any employees, and you can start making money quickly. It's very reasonable, in my opinion, to get educated, spend a month or two doing that, and then a month or two later have your first deals under contract. A couple months after that, getting your first checks. You're filling up your pipeline. You're signing people up. And those things will come through and you have a regular, steady income. It is a great, great business to be in. I think you'll really like it. And if you're here for this long, obviously you're interested. Let me give you the next step to find out more information. So I recorded a longer video called Intro to the Overages Business. In that video, I'm going to show you more in depth how this business works, what the various steps are, and how you can get started in this business. It's a meaningful business. You're going to love it because you're going to be helping people and making great money. And what could be better than that? I mean, helping people and make money, that's my favorite thing. And hopefully it's your favorite thing too. And you're making lump sums of cash without putting out a lot of money. So I think it's really great. And if you really want to get into real estate in the end, go with these lump sums of cash because cash buyers get better deals. Cash buyers are the ones that are able to support a renovation that maybe goes over budget or doesn't go quite right. All of that stuff can be fixed with cash. So line up your cash first through the overages business and then do that. So in order to see my Intro to the Overages Business video, either click on the link if you see one up above my shoulder. If you don't see that, it just means your browser doesn't support it. then click below. You'll see a link to the video down below. There you can get started. It's a longer presentation on Intro to the Overages business. I'll walk you through all the steps. You can see this and decide if it's right for you. I think it's a great business because I'm helping people and making money, and I could do it over and over again. I think you're going to love it too. So go check out the Intro to the Overages business video, and I will see you over there.